Ciao, Luca.
Ciao, Cody.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you.
Yes, fine. Crazy times in these Corona times. Tell me a little bit how you're experiencing life in the pandemic between Sweden and Italy and work and everything. How has that affected you and your work?
Well, it was not anymore a life between Sweden and Italy because it was only Sweden. And was a bit, honestly, was a bit strange, especially in the beginning, because there was really like a completely different strategy here in Sweden. I don't want to say compared to Italy, but probably compared with the rest of the world. And maybe because all my relatives and friends and also my other studio is in Venice, having and dealing with the sphere of people was a very awkward situation.
Yes. Yes.
But
indeed.
then, I mean, especially now that at least you can see a small light in the end of the tunnel, you feel also kind of proud of all this that you. I mean, I feel proud that we were able to really managing the best that we can the situation. It was a resource that I really appreciate, and working wise, honestly, in the end, of course, I miss traveling, going to the factory, seeing the prototyping happening, in real life.
Yes.
I mean, I think all of us that we are doing what we are doing, we rediscover how much important is for us the time spent together with other people in creating our own vision, and not just. But it's also true that having two studios in two different countries, working remotely was something that I was doing quite often.
Yes, you were used to it.
And so, of course, become a sort of normality. It's true that I received the prototype in the studio, have the opportunity to check it, but it's also different because when you receive a prototype in the studio, it's not the same thing than going to the factory, right?
Exactly. Where as we are discussing all of this virtually, the launch of your product, the glider, I'm sitting on it in real life, touching it, and you're on the other side in Stockholm, having to be virtually together with me. Tell me a little bit about the glider, your inspirations, what came about when you got the briefing with Artifort, and how did it evolve?
I think the work of the designer is not only in visualizing the future for the brand, but is also trying to respect a lot the DNA of the brand. So it's kind of putting your feet into a different kind of era, right? So thinking about what was the past, and not to repeat the past, just to being able to create a fil rouge and a trajectory that move the company also into the future. And I'm a kind of designer that maybe I'm a bit old-fashioned, I don't know, or is my Italian imprinting, I don't know, but I always like to remember a sentence of Vico Magistretti that was saying that the designer is the father and the company is the mother of a new product. And I really like that sentences because mean a lot, mean that it's 50-50. So if the same project I will give to another company with other expertise, the result, of course, will be different.
Yes.
But the idea is the same.
Correct.
And so it's a creation, and it's a creation that I like to really combine with the DNA and the know-how of the brand. for Artifort in particular, for me, of course, not only for me, I think, but for all of us, the work of Pierre Poulain was such a, I would say, a manifesto of modernity and completely another chapter, not only for Artifort, but I think in general for the entire design industry. Glider, the brief was pretty much precise in terms of what you and the company you were looking for. It's true that for me, I was trying to see also older project that the brand did that was in a way using that kind of combination of material and metal and upholstery, let's say, and trying to see how I can maintain a kind of attitude in terms of the Luca Nichetto attitude, but matching the DNA and the trajectory that started 40, 50 years ago.
Yes.
One of the beautiful things I think with Artifort is that the company is very deep into the manufacturing also process. So as a designer that I really like the manufacturing process, for me is like the perfect partner because we have the common interest in a way. And so there is always in the development a lot of back and forth how to do the things in that direction or that direction. And I think it's a kind of exchange that creates also richness. And so I leave a project also not with the idea only to give something, but of course I'm also receiving a lot. And that receiving is something that don't have economical value, is something that you become more complete as a designer.
Okay, Luca, can you tell me a little bit more about the glider and the design and your inspirations around that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's a very simple approach. Normally, a chair is done by a back, a seat, and a frame that normally is also the legs. So what I tried to do was observing this element and trying to emphasize, for example, the back in this case of glider. The back is becoming a sort of oversized element that is almost embracing the seat. And in this kind of gesture of embracing the seat is also because normally a chair is also welcoming the users, right? The people that are using the product.
Yes.
And I really want that they feel a sort of hug when they are sit on that. And the frame is like the skeleton, the skeleton that is connecting this element. But I really want to maintain this gap between the big back and the seat, because it's almost creating a smile that I think is able also to create a sort of empathy between the users and the product himself, and pushing also in a sort of elegance that for me was very important to achieve. And in the same time, when the back is connected with the arm, is somehow the product himself is pushing the users to have a sort of behavior when he sit on that. So, but it's a behavior that you need also to respect the different kind of users, because all of us, we are different. And also with the main idea that this product need to be a sort of transversal between hybridation almost between the residential, let's say, kind of environment and the more commercial and contract environment. This the behavior on this product can be much different every time. So it's really a kind of humanistic approach into the design. Yes. And I really want to do a product that is for all. in a way. Maybe it sounds super ambitious, but it's really something that pushed me to achieve this kind of design.
I mean, sitting in it, it is perfetto. It's very, very comfortable. Really, Artifort asked everybody there to try it, to use it, to sit on it, to give their impressions. And by far, all the responses have been very, very positive for this chair. So since you haven't touched it and sat on it, I can tell you it's super comfortable. And indeed, how you say with the arms and the gesture, how you can sit, how flexible you are in it, the openness, it's beautiful. Really, really nice. Yeah.
I'm very glad to hear that.
It's a baby of the pandemic, but nobody can see that. It's perfect.
that is a good thing. Also because, I mean, talking about the pandemic, I think one good things that the pandemic teach to all of us, I think, is also not only to be in a hurry, to present a product for a specific moment that maybe was Milan, or maybe was another trade show, right? So that create a sort of flow that I think is very respectful for the idea to become mature in the right timing, without this crazy pressure to launch novelties in that specific moment. And I really hope, and I try to have my finger crossed, that we are able, not losing this, because I think it's a super positive situation that for both designer and brands can generate not a crazy, schedule with a super high moment that everyone is stressed and then is down or nothing. But that make a trajectory that maintain attention, but is much longer.
Exactly. No shortcuts. No shortcuts.
Yeah.
That's it. So Luca, it was really, really nice to talk to you. I hope that we can see each other and touch each other in real life very soon. But thanks very much for your time. It was really nice.
Thank you, Cody. The same here. I mean, I'm really looking forward, not only touching you, but also having a drink.
Exactly. You got it. Looking forward. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Ciao,
Thank
ciao.
you very much.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.